You flip it around. For Jimmy Garoppolo and 38 other members of the 49ers 53-man roster, this is their first playoff game ever, at least that they're playing. And Garoppolo's been around greatness in New England, but he hasn't played in the playoffs. He's getting the start for the number 1 seed. There had been questions about him earlier in the year. He answered the bell in some big games. Here's Garoppolo from yesterday when he was asked about making that playoff debut this week against the Vikings.
We've had a couple of late games this season that just felt like playoff games. Starting with Seattle here, Baltimore, New Orleans, all those games. And we've said it throughout the entire season. I think it's going to help us going forward. Obviously, being the starter and backup's a little different, but I'm trying to prepare the same I have this whole season. Treat this week, just go through my routine and everything like that, like I normally do. It won't change too much. I think just you got to feed off that energy though a little bit. It's playoffs. You got to love it.
Yeah, first playoff start, pressure will be on him, and he's faced this Vikings defense one other time. That was the first game of the 2018 season. He did not have good numbers on that day.
No.
A couple of weeks later is when he tore his ACL, and I don't know that has any relevance whatsoever. Look, the bottom line is this. Even though he hasn't played a playoff game, he's right. Many of the games the 49ers played this year had playoff intensity.
Yes.
The 2 games against Seattle, the game at New Orleans, the game at Baltimore. I think that helps prepare everyone for what's to come, Chris.
I agreed. I mean, yes. I mean, how many times did we talk about it in the month of December? They went through a 3-game stretch that we'd argue was as tough as any team went through in the history of football with those games you just mentioned. Let alone, I don't know, Mike. Again, I haven't seen the guy blink yet. I just haven't seen it, so I can't believe that it's going to happen this weekend. Oh, hey, Brady's suspended. We need you to start the first Sunday night game of the year in Arizona. Oh, no big deal. He goes out and throws a touchdown pass. Oh, hey, we traded you to the San Francisco 49ers. Can you play in 6 days in Chicago and get us a win? And he moved around. He just doesn't seem flappable that way. He is unflappable. He's kind of just that way. I mean, hey, oh, I went out to dinner with a porn star. Oh, is that a big deal? I don't know. I mean, that's just kind of the makeup of him, it seems like, to where he's like that.
Are you talking about him or yourself?
No, him.
Right. Yeah, and look, you said we haven't seen him blink much this year. There was that one game, though, the Monday nighter against Seattle, late in overtime, when the 49ers really should have been trying to engineer either, hey, a last-ditch shot at getting into field goal range, or just don't give the Seahawks enough time to do anything with the ball. There were a couple of misfires from Jimmy Garoppolo on that drive that kept the clock from continuing to run and gave the Seahawks an opening that they took advantage of and ended up winning the game. So I remember we both were critical of him about that.
Definitely. You're right. We were. I mean, but that was, a game where, listen, he was under pressure a lot. He did have some good moments. Yes, in overtime was he shaky? No doubt about it. But I think from this point on is when he we kind of went, okay, he kind of answered the bell every time it rang from here on out. And the last piece of evidence for me was the last time they played Seattle. I mean, he went up there, and you can't get more of a playoff hostile environment than the Seattle Seahawks. And he really arguably played the best game of the year on the road in the biggest moment. So I expect him to play well again. And, hey, Mike, the biggest thing is we know, it's more than him. The support system around him is good. The coach is good. He's had 2 weeks. He's going to come up with some plays that are going to screw this Vikings team over. And we know they're healthy in their running game. And Deebo Samuels and George Kittle and Emmanuel Sanders, they got weapons. So I think Shanahan early on will find ways to kind of get his team going through his great game planning and things just to make them feel good and kind of break the ice and get them going.
You said earlier that what Vikings should do to the San Francisco defense is attack the corners and not try to run the ball down the 49ers defense's throat. What should the 49ers attack in the Vikings defense?
Well, that you certainly can have the same kind of conversation where, Xavier Rhodes outside on Emmanuel Sanders and Deebo Samuel. Certainly, yes, we can get into all of that. I think the big thing is Mike Zimmer traditionally is going to be all over stopping the run game, and the way Shanahan does run the game, the thing I would be wary of if I'm the Vikings, and the way I think Shanahan's going to have a lot of plays, I think, to keep the Vikings off balance early on, off of his bread and butter, meat and potatoes type of plays. So you might see some of those reverses, the speed sweeps. Oh, we're not really running the ball. We like to run the ball like this, but I'm going to keep it on play action and have some great play design down the field. So I think it's like, that's what you just got to look at for the San Francisco. Shanahan, a master manipulator of defenses and things like that. If you're Mike Zimmer, I'd be careful early and err on saying, let's just stay back, play simple, rally, make tackles. Let's not do anything over aggressive or stupid and get burned for a 70-yard touchdown.
I think trusting those linebackers like All-Pro
big.
Eric Kendricks and Anthony Barr to get to the ball in the running game, help with the coverage of George Kittle, and hope that your front four can create pressure without a lot of blitzes. One of the points you made in the aftermath of that Saints game, you didn't see the staple of the Zimmer defense with the double A gap pressure where two linebackers are standing there and they're either going to blitz or going to drop into coverage. It becomes too predictable. That's the one thing Zimmer's done, and I got to give him credit.
Right.
He has self-scouted himself, as you would say, and he's gone back and made some changes. We'll see what changes he makes when Saturday rolls around.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.